Hello, my beautiful friends. It's so great to see you here. And this is kind of a new beginning for me, a beginning of something with Wellspring. I know a few months back, I went on a little hiatus of the free monthly programs that Tom and I were doing, and felt like there was going to be something that was coming next, and I didn't know what it was. And a couple weeks ago, it sort of just dropped in. And I thought about what I really wanted to share. If I was only going to share one thing in this space that I call the awakened business, but it's about so much more than a business to me, what would I want to share? I started imagining a place where I wanted to meet. I was envisioning a gathering. And the people who come to me, the people I'm meeting inside the awakened business are up to stuff. They're creators. They have something they want to make in the world. And there's a lot of doing in that. And there are plenty of places that you can go to do and to find people who will tell you how to do and what to do. And there aren't as many people that I see who are saying, hey, let's slow down together. Let's slow down. Let's go back to the source of everything and create from there. And that's what this means to me. That's what Wellspring means to me. It's going to the well within and taking the time to rest there and taking a drink there and connecting with some beautiful souls there and seeing what that's like without even needing to do anything with it. So this is what I'm hoping you can feel. And I wanted to speak a little bit to using some inspiring words of others to this, to kind of set the tone for it. So this first is a quote from John O'Donohue from his book that's called To Bless the Space Between Us, a Book of Blessings. There is a quiet light that shines in every heart. It draws no attention to itself, though it is always secretly there. It is what illuminates our minds to see beauty, our desire to seek possibility, and our hearts to love life. Without this subtle quickening, our days would be empty and wearisome, and no horizon would ever awaken our longing. Our passion for life is quietly sustained from somewhere in us that is wedded to the energy and excitement of life. This shy inner light is what enables us to recognize and receive our very presence here as blessing. This speaks to what Wellspring means to me. This speaks to where I want to invite us to go. But this is really about us meeting here and seeing what's happening. So what I'd love to invite you to do is, if you are available for that, what would you like to explore or experience today? And if you would put that into the chat, let's just see if we've got a quick check-in with everyone. What's alive for you? What would you like to explore or experience? And you can take a moment to sit with that. And if you're moved to speak about it, you can do that too. I have pinned myself for the recording, so only your voice will be on the recording, not your image. Relax in the moment, draw from the well. So that invitation was something that you're responding to. Me too. Here, here. That sounds good. Ah, okay. Something playful. One of Steph's experiments. A new beginning from the current state. Oh, a new beginning. Hmm. I like that a lot. Thank you, Xander. I didn't say hi to you as you entered. Glad you're here. So, a new beginning. What we are searching for is already here. Yeah. So the cool thing about going to this well within, this space within us, is that it's always fresh and it's always new. So I want you to take a moment and think about what a new beginning means for you. What would you like to see, feel, experience a new beginning about? Because we're here. As John just wrote, what we're looking for is already here. The new beginning is here. The playfulness is here. The relaxation is here. And there was also a comment about cycles and phases. Yeah. Savor life now. And that's a beautiful invitation in itself, to savor life. Well, I'd love to hear from someone. What's stirring in you with these prompts that we've been offered? Going to the well, taking a drink, relaxation, cycles and phases, new beginning, playful experiment. Anagita, I see your hand. Hi.
Hello, everyone. Well, what right now speaks to me most right now is cycles and phases and new beginnings. I had a phase or a cycle where I was completely down, and I mean, I went, I was down a few times, yes, in that time, but I also went kind of low. Is that English? I went low. I didn't do much work. And there was a new beginning. I just realized it now that I read it today. I had my first sound healing session, an online session. And suddenly, oh, it is possible to start a new beginning after a long time, after a long cycle of not doing stuff. No, because I think I tried to go into the well or into the relaxation of the last several months. So out of that, suddenly somebody asked me, would you like to sing for me? They asked me. I didn't So that was very, now I'm just really touched. I think I just experienced a mixture of most of the things that are here. So thank you for reminding me and making it more conscious to me what that means.
Yeah. This is, by the way, a reminder for me too. It's really easy for me to get caught up in the doing, and there are always things to do. And I want to create a lot of things. I love creating things. And sometimes when I do that and I'm not sure what to do, sometimes I go into my little mind and it starts spinning and spinning. And this is a reminder that what I'm looking for is inside, is before, is in the stillness and the quiet. And it's from this space where everything I'm looking for is found and everything I'd like to create emerges. I had a conversation yesterday with a lovely woman, and in this conversation, there were periods where I was very stirred up. And then there were periods of stillness. And she asked me when I was in the stillness, she said, what is it that the stillness compels you to do? And I said, it doesn't compel me. I just want to stay here. But there's a movement here. It's so different than the compulsion, but I do feel a compulsion from my busy thoughts. Like have to do, move faster, do it better, uh, must move very fast. The stillness is, there's nothing to do there. And yet there is a movement that informs me, that moves me, that guides me from that place. And I'm going to read a second piece because I think it's a really gorgeous description of what this means to go to the well. And this is from Michael Neal's book called The Space Within. There is a space within you where you are already perfect, whole, and complete. It is a space of pure consciousness, the space inside which all thoughts come and go. When you rest in the feeling of this space, the warmth of it heals your mind and body. When you operate from the infinite creative potential of this space, you produce high levels of performance and creative flow. When you sit in the openness of this space with others, you experience a level of connection and intimacy that is breathtakingly enjoyable and filled with love. And when you explore this space more deeply, you will find yourself growing closer and closer to the divine, even if you're not sure there is such a thing and wouldn't know how to talk about it if there was. Every problem we have in life is the result of losing our bearings and getting caught up in the content of our own thinking. The solution to every one of these problems is to find our way back home. I think that speaks beautifully to just some of the rich experiences available from this space within. The feeling of rest and healing for your mind and body. the infinite creative potential that happens when we hang out in that space, and the deep connection that we feel when we hang out in this space with others. I'm wondering if you guys are up for some connection with others right now. Let's take a little vote. So you can vote with a hand, with a thumbs up or a thumbs down, and this won't be on the video. Just us here will see. Would you like to have a little breakout with someone and have a connection experience? And if you're a yes, you can put your thumbs up. And if you're a no, you can put your thumbs down. And if you can also put in the chat if you prefer. I see one thumb, two thumbs, three thumbs.
We might be surprised by what shows up.
Yeah. I love that. Okay, cool. So we're going to do that. And what I'd love for you to do is take this opportunity. I'm going to put you into breakout rooms and let the Zoom gods decide who goes where. I'm going to put you into pairs. And, okay, let's see. How many participants do I have? Whoops, there we go. And what I want you to do is just be with the person that you're with as a new beginning. So a new beginning for yourself, as a new beginning with this person who you may or may not have met before. Take your time with it. You can sit with your eyes closed if that helps you, or you can leave them open. But take your time, and then when you speak from a new beginning. And Claire, actually, that's perfect. You don't have to pop off if you want. Oh, it looks like she already did. That's okay. So let what comes be from a new beginning. And I'm just going to give you 5 minutes, just a short little connection. So again, the invitation, if you choose to accept it, is to show up with this person and with yourself from this new beginning, from the freshness of this well. Take your time. And if you feel moved to do so, you can speak. And as you do this, just notice whatever you notice about the experience. And I'll put you into the breakout rooms now. So I'm curious, what did you notice that was new, that was interesting for you about showing up with someone in this feeling of a new beginning? Also, if there's something else that occurred to you that was new and interesting, you're welcome to share that too. Hi, Xander.
Hi. So what springs to mind right now is there are no new beginnings. I wrote the thing about new beginnings, right? But because the reason I'm saying that is because meeting Ollie for the first time felt exactly the same as meeting anyone else I ever have met for the first time. It was bloody awkward in here, right? In here, it was awkward. I didn't know what to say. I didn't know what to talk. I didn't know what to talk about. So yeah. But the reason I wrote, if you don't mind me saying this, the reason I
Sure.
wrote about the beginning is because I almost put in the chat. In fact, I had it written in and I was just about to hit enter, but I didn't do it. the reason is I wrote that the the term new beginning might imply, and certainly in my case, it's why I wrote it, implies that something has ended. If something has ended, then it's a new beginning. And yeah, I don't know if I want to go into it. I don't know if we have time, if you want to hear about it or whatever. But I have found myself recently um, in not a brand new space, but it's certainly been a whole lot of years since I found myself in, well, the position that I'm in. Um, and it's it's exciting and it's scary at the same time, you know. So um, yeah, I yeah, you know, I don't celebrate new beginnings. I don't do change well. Um, but sometimes it's forced. Sometimes it's forced. We find ourselves in a position, or I certainly can speak for myself. I have suddenly found myself in a position. It feels brand new. It's not brand new. It may be 10 or 15 years since I last felt this way. Uncertainty is on fire right now, within me, right, or whatever. And it's all okay. And the circumstances and the story and the scenario and all, it doesn't matter. Um, all that matters is what am I going to do with it? What am I going to do with it? And that's why I made a point of being here because um, I don't know, you kind of tend to make me think of those things. So because of previous Zoom calls and what have you. So yeah, that's kind of why I'm here.
Mm.
So I don't
Well,
have to say anything, but that's what I have to say.
thanks, Sander. Sounds like being love struck to me.
No, no. I, but I understand why you might be saying that. Yeah, scary and
Oh,
yeah.
yeah, that's and whatever it is happening, it doesn't matter. The interesting thing is that
But thankfully not. It's not. It's not. It's not. It's not a woman. Thankfully. I'm sorry. I don't mean any disrespect, but no, it's not
no,
that.
it's okay. It's okay.
Xander, I'm feeling, wow, isn't that cool? I mean, you've got a surprise. You don't know what surprises are going to show up, but there's some new stuff happening, and you go, woohoo! The game's just changed, and I get to play again.
Yeah, it's a case of um fright fright on the opposite. Well, hold on, let's see. Fright and oh, this looks good.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
Fright and it's like oh shit, oh right.
and the fright is coming from what? Because you don't know what's going to happen?
Uh, um, Fright is the fright is that something something come to an end, something finished, right? And it has had the potential, it didn't, but it had the potential to throw me like a whirlwind, just everywhere. But that didn't, for some reason, that didn't happen. Um, it doesn't matter what the reason is. It just didn't happen.
Yeah.
I handled it quite well, you might say, but um, it has it means I have to do something. I was comfortable. And here's the thing: I was comfortable the way things were. Now that something has come to an end, yeah, I got lazy. I was comfortable. I was complacent. I was all sorts of
Mhm.
procrastinating and other inaction words, words that imply inaction. Now I have to do something, right? And I was just thinking, funnily enough, I was just thinking, that they talk about it's not, it's, the destination doesn't matter. Enjoy the journey. And I was just thinking along the lines of, if it's about the journey, I'm never going to get anywhere. Well, suddenly I've just got on a train that I didn't expect to board, and I'm going to have to get somewhere.
But I mean, it is about the journey. This came to me. Somebody has said this before. Like when you write about somebody born this date to this date, right? And it's all about the dash. It's what are we gonna play with as we go through this thing? And this time you'll be playing certain things. Next time you play some other stuff. But it always comes back to, wow, isn't that cool? And the messiness part is changing from what was to what is always messy. And I try not to use the word fear in there, but there is this anticipation of not knowing what's coming. You could call that fear, but there's another word for it. I don't know what the word is.
It's fear. Believe me. Right.
Oh my
But
goodness.
a joy of knowing that you can handle it. I mean, you're going to be able to handle this, right? Oh, okay, look, a new set of circumstances. How am I going to play this?
Yeah, I can stand on ice and it might crack and it might not.
Yeah.
Stop me standing on the ice. That's a bad metaphor, but you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I moved to point to something that's really kind of cool, I think. And that is that we're talking about beginnings and talking about endings. And in order to have a beginning or an end, you need to have time. You need to have a past and a future. And the only thing that is ever happening is now. So the past and the future is made of thought, which means a beginning and an end is made of thought. And that's kind of cool to see because we can play with that. We can play with the idea of beginning and say, oh, what new beginning can I have in this moment? Or like Xander said, we can say there are no new beginnings. And neither is actually true. There's just this. And when I was in the breakout room with John, who I've spoken to before, I looked at him and thought about new beginnings and thought about fresh and looked at him as if I'd never seen him before. And I imagine now, like, what if I look at a person like I've never seen a person before? Like I drop all my ideas about what any of that means and I'm just being here with this experience and this presence. I remember when I first experimented with that, and it was with my mother, who was a very challenging person for me to be with in my life, throughout most of my life. And every time we would be together, I wasn't really with her. I was with all my stories and my history about her. And so, as you might imagine, we'd get together and she'd say something and I'd take offense. And then it was mostly unspoken, but not very pleasant. And I don't remember why, but one day I remember seeing her and thinking, what if I didn't know her? What if I showed up with my mother like I'd never met her before and I didn't know what she would be like, what kinds of things she would say. I didn't have any stories. And it was really different. And that was the beginning of seeing things. It was like without my stories about my mother, I started to see things in her that I would have sworn she doesn't do that. She's never like that. There was a new person in front of me simply by showing up without my ideas about who she was, or with less of them, because I'm sure I still had them. There was so much space in that. And I think, my goodness, when we show up in the moment with whatever is here, whether it's that feeling of fear/excitement, what if I don't know what it means? And this is new. There was never a moment like this before. And at the same time, it's not new because there is only this moment that we're in. What else? What else are you noticing even now? What's stirring?
Well, Stephanie, just as you were talking about that, I mean, it's hard for most of us, I think, to just show up and just be. We always want to, I always want to create stuff. And one of the things I found, and just in your story as you were talking about it, on previous meetings, you went in with certain expectations as to how things were going to go. And I've experimented with deciding how things are going to go before I get into that circumstance. And usually, and especially when I have an expectation that it's going to be whatever, but the expectation is very deep. It's almost like that is what's going to happen. And it usually does because you see what you expect. So when you expect good things to happen, they will. When you expect bad things to happen, they will, because you've created that, or I've created that through my expectation.
And I've had examples of that in my life, and I've had examples of the exact opposite of that. I've had examples of situations where I thought, I'm going to hate this, and I loved it. And things when I said, oh, this is going to be amazing, and I had a miserable time. I mean, yes, we are creating our experience, but the thing is, I don't know how I'm going to create it until I get there. I don't know. I mean, I might say that this call, I'm going to feel amazing. But when I show up here, I might create the feeling of not amazing, uncomfortable, awkward, insecure. That's really kind of cool to notice that. It's up for grabs. And we get to play around with, I'm going to create expectations and I'm going to believe it. That's amazing too, that we can, you know?
Yeah, I think that was the point I was trying to get at, is that you can say, I'm going to have a good time, or you can feel deeply that you are going to have, that's just the way it's going to be. You are going to have a good time. And there is a difference between saying something and feeling it deeply inside. And when I've done the latter, feel it deeply inside that this is the way things are going to unfold, that's when it's already been created, you know, and I just lived through it. If I'm in my mind about it, well, then it's almost spontaneous as we're going through and we're reacting, and the opposite may happen because the deep intent was not there for me.
Cool. Thanks, John. What else are you noticing? Any questions coming up? What are you seeing? I'm kind of wondering if I could, can I pick on you, Rob? And you can say no. You can, even though I'm picking on you. I'm wondering what you were being with around cycles and phases, what that meant to you, what that means to you. Or maybe something else you're seeing or hearing or feeling.
Yeah, thanks, Steph. You can pick on me. It's fine.
I thought so.
Yeah. Yeah, maybe reflecting a bit on what is being shared. As I know you by now, after a few years, I don't really have expectations. Well, the only expectation that I have is like that everything is fluid and open, and you want things to emerge and to be in the now space. So and that's a good feeling. I always feel having a meeting here with the people you invite and with you, it's like, well, let's explore. It's a bit of a adventure, and let's see what comes up. So you don't really need to prepare, just bring yourself, and that's fine. So that's what I like a lot.
Mm-hmm.
And I guess yeah, I guess because Xander wrote New Beginnings, I intuitively somewhere subconsciously came up with the cycles and phases, because yeah, like what is being said, it doesn't feel like really a new beginning. It's just an end of a cycle on a phase, and then you go into another one. So and it seems that for one person it can be very scary maybe, or exciting or challenging, and for another it's really comforting, as I experience it, like really reflecting on what is being done and what you learned, and then going into a new one, which you don't know what exactly will happen, but I feel it kind of comforting that the adventures are around the corner. Yeah, and that's just one way of looking at it. But yes, also I think it was said, sometimes you're forced, and which can be a very positive experience in a way. And you have to, pause and take things as they are, and yeah, do your best to get through that phase and see, okay, where am I now? What has it brought me? And yeah, those are my thoughts for the moment.
Mm-hmm. Thank you, Rob. I hear in that when you talked about cycles and phases, I feel that infinity sign, like that things are moving and changing like the seasons, but it's just a flow. It's just changing form, even from perhaps lifetime to lifetime, in and out, everything, energy just changing its form. And there is this experience of beginnings and endings that we have, which is also really cool. And it's also just a part of the flow, the endless now. Yeah. And because we spend so much of our time in the beginning and the end, in the past and the future, in the what's next and what already happened, this space is an invitation to set that down even just for a moment. Not perfectly, not like you're supposed to be thoughtless or some kind of enlightened guru or something, but just even to ask yourself, what if I do set that down for a moment? Or just not grab onto it quite so tightly. What happens then? And for me, there's this space that opens up from it. There's this beingness that opens up from it. And I slow down. And I don't mind the long pauses. I don't have the racing thinking inside of them. And I really start to feel these beautiful people with me here. And how cool it is that we're here together. Thank you for that. Yeah, Xander, I see your hand. Would you like to share?
Yeah, it was what Robert was saying kind of made me think that when the change, or whatever is happening, um the way I had to write this down, right? So I'm going to read it from my note, right? Because I write things down because I'm very forgetful, right? Something will come to mind and then I'll forget, like, because somebody said a sentence, right? I'll forget. So when it feels personal, it feels, the change, whatever. And it's not really a change. It's changing circumstances. It's out there. It's not, it's out there. It's circumstantial, what have you, but it feels personal. It feels personal to me. Um, and with that change, I see some truths. I have to swallow some truths about me, and it feels like it's about me and who I am. Now, some of that may be true, but some of it's not. Um, but what I feel now is that because I have to take action, I have to do something, right? What I feel now is that there is something that has been lying dormant within me, deep within me, not in this, well, maybe I don't know, but deep within me, don't know where within me, right? It's like there's no place, but there's something that has been dormant that has been awakened. Um, and I just looked and remembered actually, where I've been on cause with you is because of the awakened business and what you've done through that sort of community and that with Tom. And yeah, it's yeah, I don't know. But when it feels like it's about me, and I at the same time it's not about me, but I do have truths that suddenly become aware of about who I've been,
Mm.
perhaps, or who I've not been, or what I've not been. Have I been true to myself? Have I been, you know, I know those other words like procrastinating and pretending to do and not really doing anything. Um, yeah, so yeah, I don't know. I don't know if that makes sense, but that's what I had. That something has been awakened within me, and it feels that's the exciting part.
Mm.
That's, who is this guy that's about to pop out of me here? Right. So yeah.
Mm. Yeah, that's so cool. And I think like noticing that awakened feeling, that awakening feeling, the aliveness of it. And then you can see where when I make it about me, it starts to get sticky. It starts to feel funny. It starts to feel scary. But it's this awakening, this quickening. That's really beautiful. Yeah, for me too, by the way, anytime I make something about me, like there's a way for it to be through me that feels clean, not about me, not judging me, not comparing about me, not limiting or even expanding me, but just this experience of me. It feels easy and natural. I used to have a lot of not making it about me that was actually really about me, which is why it felt so awful. Right? Because not about me is about me too. Hmm. I'm beginning to have my first experiences with feeling proud of myself in a way that doesn't feel wrong. Like I'm just pleased that, oh, wow, look at this thing that happened through me. And it's delightful. Like I would feel the same way about any one of you. I love celebrating when you're doing something amazing. But I haven't often done that for myself. Either I was like trying to pump myself up to feel better or making myself small so that I didn't seem like I was arrogant. Yeah, I see some nods. Some people can relate to that one. Yeah, we have a few minutes left. I'm curious, what's speaking to you? I want to invite you to go within again. You know, we never have to leave. And we do. I know I do. I will. I never have to leave this stillness. So it's nice to just remind myself I can come back, even as I'm being with you, even as I'm listening to you. And what do you hear there? And it's just for you. And it might also be for you to share, but it doesn't have to be. I'm kind of laughing to myself because I always have a lot that I could say. And I like that I don't have to. And I like that I can. Like that feels really nice. And I can kind of sit and feel and just feel. Mm-hmm. Mm. I'm going to read what Xander's words are because they're really lovely, I think, for me and all of us. I'm okay. Always have been. Didn't always know it. No need to allow the stories to make me not okay. Mm.
Can you read that again without the okay?
Mm. Sure. I'm always have been. Didn't always know it. No need to allow the stories to make me not. We could say, I am.
Yep.
Always have been. Didn't always know it. No need to allow the stories to make me not. And the stories are the only thing that make us not. They're the only thing that make us not that. And they don't even make us not. They just make us seem like we're not. Which is even better.
Oh, look at yourself, Steph. The stories are just fun. Play.
Yeah.
Yep. That's why we're here, to be in this movie, to have stuff happen, and we can feel it as intensely as we want to or not. We can pop in, feel it very intensely, or if it's too intense, pop out and go, okay, it's just a movie. I've resisted saying that to people because we are here to play and to create. that if I say that to you, it might reduce the intensity of the experience, the intensity of going to that movie? And should I do that?
That's another movie, John.
So I've used the term sparks of consciousness, not for you, but with Stephanie, and that's who I see us as. Each of us sparks of that one consciousness, here just to play, to experience limitation, just for the fun of it.
Oh, I love that. I love this. Oh, the stories we tell and how we play in them. It's so beautiful. Well, thank you so much, everyone. Come to the end of our hour together. I will do this again next month, second Thursday at the same time. And I shall see you again. Thank you.